And we're live.
What's going on?
I really don't have a mic to say hi.
Everybody start talking.
Hello.
What's
Hello.
good?
How pissed
Hello.
are
Can
you?
Can we switch to the other camera really quick? There. I just wanted to do that to that.
I'm
actually,
just gonna.
Actually, if there was a fire, it
Does
would
anybody have a
be more
lighter?
appropriate. Yeah.
I'm gonna say
Do a little
this.
sterno and sit this thing in there and just.
Just let it melt.
Yeah.
This episode and season sucks just as much as this wine of Game of Thrones sucks.
Hence, I'm drinking a beer.
So you might say welcome
Hence, I'm
to
drinking a beer.
Wine of Throne.
Yes, I will definitely whine about
What?
this season.
Oh.
Especially this episode.
Welcome to our supersized finale episode. We've brought back all of the old regulars. Jasmine is here. Carlo is back, as well as Lucas, Alex, and I.
My dumb face is back.
It's your boy.
And his dumb face is back.
Alex does not get memos. That's why he missed the black shirt memo.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think he's just more optimistic about this.
I prepared for coming for a funeral.
Oh shit. Yeah, no.
No,
Was
it's
it-
the
was it
it's
really
the
a
other red wine. What's the other one that we
White.
left on the or no, we got it right on the trivia night. What's the other kind of wine besides Dornish?
I don't know. My brain is
White.
actively clearing out Game of Thrones
Yeah.
information because
We're
it's
in
not worth
clear
saving
out
anymore.
This whole season just sucked. Just
Yeah.
The Battle of Winterfell had a good ending. I liked the Arya killing the Night King thing. That was the highlight of the season. That was the
Even
the
if
good
it was
moment.
quick.
well. I mean, there was nothing about that episode that was quick. That was a long, drawn out episode. But at least we got a cool moment at the end that was cheerworthy.
If they had a long fight where she's just knife fighting his ice spears, that would have been.
That would have been nice.
Well, I mean, it would have been hard to believe.
well, here's
That would have been nice. Ice.
so I made like a kind of prediction of what I thought was gonna happen this episode on the dragon burning Jon Snow and him like appearing out of the fire, kind of like how Daenerys happened, but in front of everyone. That didn't happen. He just stabbed her. Spoilers alert. But I don't give a shit anymore.
We have a little bit of lag going on, but we can keep talking about light stuff until we've finished it. Yeah, I think my favorite moment of the season was we're good. Okay,
Well,
it's your connection. Close your browser, reopen it, whatever you need to do.
Julian, what's your thing that you hate the most?
My
Wait.
favorite moment was Brienne getting knighted. I think that was my favorite moment.
Or
Of
her
the
getting
season.
like knighted or
Yes.
getting fucked by Jamie.
No. What?
That was
Vulgarity.
Oh, did we not say that?
No, that was actually one of the worst moments in this season. Was like that carried no weight and like had no repercussions at
Her-
all. Her hooking up with
I
him.
know. I agree.
Yeah.
I feel like they should have just left it at her being knighted and not have that whole hookup scene.
hey guys, we got some chat comments by the way. First of all, we got Paracetamol's back, as is Mary Poopin. Anon is back, so we got a larger crowd than before. Good job going at 10, so we can get more people.
There you go.
There's a lot of comments about when Drogon finally breathed fire, how, as we discussed, he went after the chair.
Yep.
More prevalent than
That was the
this
first
season.
time that. It wasn't the first time Danny saw it and him. So how did he even know what it was?
Because I guess you're
Smart
supposed
dragon.
to assume that there's a mental connection.
So he was just like, "Yo, this is what drove you so crazy, girl." Now it's not even a thing.
Mom! That was what I got from that. It was just, ugh.
And if there are any doctors out there, if you get stabbed in the stomach, do you bleed through your nose and mouth? Just like 2 tiny lines?
I hate to interrupt you, but I wanted to use the more technical term that Lucas used earlier. If you get stabbed in the tummy,
Yeah, she got tummy poked.
Yep.
She got poked in the tummy because
higher
that's
than
how much
that.
gravity that scene had for me. Is that I'm going to call it the tummy poke
Yeah.
because I just like all of these big moments are supposed to happen and I just don't care. Like they just everything that it's like no these things are supposed to her going and saying John killing her all that stuff needs to happen and that it's the way that the show needs to end or the story needs to end. But the way they did it and led up to it, just none of it felt you didn't feel the gravity of any of it.
Equality for Souls says yes, you do. So
We don't have to.
They're an RN.
Oh,
So
Okay.
so
there you go. They
Yeah, there you go.
definitely consulted
Oh, so
someone
you
before that
do
scene.
you do bleed through your nose and mouth that fast?
well,
and
Maria
little line.
thinks that he went up through the rib cage and into her lungs, and that's why she was leaking blood.
But he didn't though.
But they did. It was a little higher than their.
No,
it
it
was
was
pretty
like-
high. It was a high
No, it
shot.
was like right here. It was like almost
And it
like
was
underneath
very
their
s-
breath.
def-
Did we
definitely
really see how it
straight.
went in though? Because they were hugging, and it was just that sound effect of like.
Well, when she was on the floor, it was like around the tummy, and
Oh,
it was straight.
Are we really arguing where the pointy end went?
Because they had the mouth bleed, and that's where it's like
I think we have more
adding.
pressing
I think they
issues
had to make it
discuss.
clear that she was dead, and
Well,
it wasn't
no.
just like a
Okay, how about this?
semi-mortal wound.
This is where I call BS then. She
Oh
was
yeah, paracetamol has. I think she probably has the most.
She wouldn't die so
expertise.
fast.
Yeah, she died so fast and hard compared to Jamie, who took 2 of those and walked all the way, walked Cersei all the way.
Through a fucking city.
Well, I mean, I don't know at that point.
It's like, yo, does she just have a small abdomen? Like,
I mean, you could always go
all
by
the vitals are
the
in that.
BS answer that they always give in movies, which is she died of a broken heart.
Moving on.
Wow, yes, thank you
I
for
mean,
that.
So
No.
Drogo like just takes her body and flies to where?
I honestly was really hoping that Drogon would eat her. Maybe that was just me, but I would just like that would be such a fitting end. Just like be done with it, eat her, and
Broken
you're done.
tummy.
So Bran probably just walked into Drogon and just dropped her.
By the way, he got fucked with a name. By the way, Bran the Broken.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like,
I think it's supposed to call back to there's another Bran in the histories of Westeros is
That's
Bran the
not
Builder.
broken?
Yeah.
So it's supposed to be like the opposite of Bran the Builder is Bran the Broken. But it's like what a terrible
Yeah,
name.
why would you want that?
My lord, Bran the Broken. Like
What about Bran the
'Cause
Legless?
What's the name of that one
Better than
episode?
Bran the Crippled.
Something, bastards and broken things.
I don't know.
So I mean, they do refer to broken things, and I guess he is a broken thing. But to
Well,
have that as your name in the history books
At least
is
we know that
Bran the
King's
Broken.
Landing is
Well,
probably
that's the
gonna
name
be
of the
ADA
king.
compliant.
The name of the king is Bran the Broken. How lame is that?
Mary Poopin says that if you've seen How to Train Your Dragon 3, you know where the dragon went with her body. But I have not seen that movie yet, so I called them out for spoilers.
But
What
I
about
don't know.
the
I don't
TV
know what would have
series?
been a better name. But it's like you as a
Bran the Raven.
as a citizen of the realm, and it gets down to you. Like, say you're just some happy beet farmer, and you're like, oh, by the way, we got a new king. His name's Bran the Broken. You'd be like, broken? What's wrong with him?
I'm moving
Get
to
put in new batteries. Wind him up. What's wrong with him?
See, now I'm going to spend the rest of this thinking about a new alliteration for Bran the something. I need some time, but I'll get there.
Dude, I would have if I was part of Westeros throughout probably halfway of this, I would have moved to Essos a long time ago.
That's probably where the dragon went.
Yeah, well, yeah,
That's where he
the
was
dragon's
born.
like, yo, I'm outie. This is whack. I'm gonna go burn slave owners.
Yeah, what happens to the Dothraki? Like when they find out that she's gone, or they just like
They
now
they very carefully showed no Dothraki after she died. Where it was just like, maybe Grey Worm and the whatever,
Unsullied?
the Unsullied could figure it out and like move on. But like, there's no way the Dothraki would move on, so just don't show them. We're not going to deal with that. One of many things that we can't deal with, so just move on.
Well, the other thing is that the Dothraki and the Unsullied wanted justice, so Jon had to become part of the Night's Watch again. But like
Night Watch of nothing.
after they bounce, what like just be like, oh well, yeah, we'll do that, and then they leave, and then you're like, okay, so Jon, you don't actually have to do that.
Went to the
chat,
Isle.
I want to point out, by the way, chat pointed out, did anybody else feel like Jon did not deserve to get Ghost back at the end? Because I had the same thought of like, Ghost, why are you welcoming him? He sent you away.
It's
he like
what the people
he
wanted.
like banished you to the north, and then he comes back, and you're like, oh, I'm so happy. And what happened to his ear?
Yeah, did he
I don't know
lose
what happened to
his
his
ear
ear.
before?
It was there
Did
definitely.
I miss him losing an ear?
I totally
that's
thought
what
he
I
still
thought
had his
too.
ear. And that scene also threw complete bullshit on their explanation for why they didn't have him pet him when he was leaving. Because he just pet him. He's like, oh, we couldn't CGI it right.
They went for like nice moments in this instead of logic and sanity.
The whole season did not have logic.
Sadness.
I'm still wondering where they got that many Dothraki to be in King's Landing because I thought they all died at Winterfell.
Well, of course, like the remnants of her army can grow and shrink as the plot demands.
Yeah, that thing was like an accordion.
Oh, I do want to bring up that I guess the remember the vision she had in the what is that thing called? Not the Tower of Joy. House of the Undying. When she's chasing, when that dude snatches her baby dragons,
Yeah.
and she starts having those visions, that was the snow coming down in the throne room at the end of it. That happened. But did they have a tough time? I felt like in the editing room during the CG, they were like, no, we need to have ash coming down. And then
No,
they were
it's
like,
not.
why does it look like snow? And they're like, oh, shit. Let's just make it snow. They're like, wait, is it? I don't know how to keep this ash going. Ash can only go on for so long, so let's just turn it into snow.
Yeah, that was
I don't know. I don't
terribly
understand.
explained. Like, why would you? It just snowing and then like it's hard for people to
I was like,
tell the
did
difference. or something.
winter not come yet? Maybe they'll get some White Walkers here. Then I quickly dashed out. I was like, no, because that would be a cool idea. We're not doing that anymore. It's the end. It looks cooler in the snow, so they're gonna do
Dramatic
snow.
Yeah.
Dang.
So much dumb.
Well, I was upset by, I mean, I don't know. Yara had some heavy allegiance, but I felt like, she told you to go do some shit that got you captured, and I don't know. I guess she's still.
Yeah, why was Yara so like her brother was like loyal to the death to the Starks, not to the Queen. Why was she
Yeah.
so
Or even
hell-bent?
the Greyjoys.
Yeah.
She clearly didn't care about anyone in King's Landing.
I know that we complained and we thought it was really weird when they had the whole council scene and they were making
that
all the
scene
jokes.
was garbage. Oh my god, that dialogue was the worst. I could not believe. I was like, this is how you're ending it on some kind of like, I don't know, some like we're just gonna ad lib this like conversation about ruling the thing.
And I get that Bronn got Highgarden and he got wealth, but does that mean that suddenly he's great at math and is able to be master of coin? Like that doesn't make a lot of sense.
I mean, no.
Yeah, they just gave him the job. It's like, he likes money, so let's make him in charge of it. Yeah, I don't
Like
know.
I don't understand
He
that.
just, I didn't think it's like, and the other thing too, I don't think he deserved anything. He was a fucking terrible character at the end of it. It's like he
wasn't
had
that
nothing.
bad.
No, there's no redeeming quality. He played both sides so that he would always end up on top, which I guess like
Which
is
most
supposed
of
to
them did.
is supposed to be like what you do. I don't know, but it's like that's not fun to watch. It's not. You know what I mean? Like, because you end up liking the guy at one point, and then they just make him a fucking asshole. I don't know.
I like Maria's comment, which is you get a +9 to math checks when you become Lord of Highgarden.
Nice.
But they made a joke out of it. But if you really think about how they're trying to run this new Westeros situation, if Homeboy's like priorities are building brothels for real, and it really did seem like that's where his head was at, they're gonna have some they're gonna just have to kill him later, because he's gonna make shit tough.
That's why they're checks and balances, though.
Hey, was there any significance to Sam's maester robes being white?
As opposed to what were they before?
Like they were always either gray or black, or was it just like he had clean robes because he was a new maester? And eventually,
I think that was
they just get
that was
dirty.
just a
It just
choice
knew.
of him being he's new, because his chain is also simple. Because I think what is it? The links represent
well, the more
how you
links you
study,
have, the
like
more
what you study or
things you've
specialize in.
mastered
Yeah.
or mastered.
He's Archmaester. Oh, so he does get white.
Ah.
Yeah. I didn't know if it was the actual links in the chain or the whole chain itself represented what he studied.
So does that mean that Sansa has studied one thing? 'Cause she's been wearing that stupid loop all season.
Oh my god, I fucking hate that thing. I don't know why it shouldn't bug me as much as it
Warden of the
does,
North.
but
So should we start complaining?
Oh,
Yeah.
because they rule everything now?
I think we've already started complaining.
Like
That's all.
Anybody else
That's all
just
you
be
can
like,
do about this
like
episode.
screw you, Sansa. Like, don't give us the whole like the North will never bend the knee. You just want power. That's what you always wanted.
Is there any redeeming qualities of this one episode?
It fucking ended it. It
That's
put
what I was
it
gonna
say. Theories on why the dragon burned the throne instead of giving us the John doesn't burn payoff.
I know. I wish I saw that.
I don't know. I guess they
Just so that they could say, we didn't do what you expected. Just say, oh, didn't we?
Yeah, but
come up-
everyone's gonna expect the dragon to burn John.
Oh, maybe it was like, oh, we don't need a seat because the new king is built with a seat. He has his own chair.
It's built in.
Oh, that's terrible.
Well, okay. Here's kind of a science question. I could be really stupid. The throne was originally built by dragon fire melting down 1,000 swords, right?
Mhm.
Isn't there a point where you can't keep melting, or am I just completely wrong? If like it's already been melted to a certain point.
As a man who's worked with metals for 45 years, I think you can
Okay.
melt down
All right.
to a point.
I think also those were Drogon's My Mama's Dead anger flames, which are hotter than let's make a chair flames.
Dragon theory. Love it.
Yeah, I've been working with metal for like 45 years. Did it bug anyone that supposedly Jaime and Cersei were crushed by rock, but when Tyrion finds them, they were only like 3
Yeah.
rocks on top
Oh,
of them?
yeah.
And their
Yeah.
hands are undid.
I thought the same thing. And they were
I think
not
you're
smashed enough.
I think you're supposed to assume
They
that
look
more
so-
rocks hit them and then rolled off.
What?
And they were dead by then.
A
No.
whole castle fell on top of
No,
them.
but that's the other thing is
There was a lot
no,
of
it
space.
didn't because so much of the castle was still up.
No,
I
no.
was just like, how is the castle still there?
They
It
were
looked
just
like
in
the
the
whole
one
damn
spot
thing
that
fell.
fell.
They
They
look-
could
they
have
look-
moved 3 feet to
Yeah.
the right and would have been
They
saved.
looked so cozy.
Well, not just that. Okay,
You know
so
what I
when Daenerys was walking to the throne, everything was torn down except for this clear path to the Iron Throne. And then same thing with Jaime and Cersei. Clear path for Jaime to walk and find them.
Have you ever stepped on a snail? They don't still look like snails after. They look like they were taking a
They
nap.
look like boogers.
Hey,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lena Headey had to be recognizable. She's making $1 million to lie in rubble.
But honestly, it
Smash
took
her.
Tyrion like 3 minutes to find them out of that whole area down there. He just went straight to that pile, saw that hand, and started uncovering
Yeah.
I agree
cry
with
digging.
Mary Poppins, though. That was a nice moment when he found them. Like, credit to Peter Dinklage. That was probably one of the better scenes of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Logic-wise, sure, but like him reacting to it, acting it out, I thought that was good. That's what we needed from him to kind of complete his arc and get him to where he was going to go the episode.
I think that scene made me realize that Peter Dinklage's acting has gotten better throughout the season.
He's the only thing still carrying any part of that show. But
Yeah.
then he just
Oh,
didn't have anything to do this
he
season.
had the show on his back just from the garbage line that he got. He was able to make lemonade, basically.
Yeah, Peter Dinklage was. I put the team on my back.
Speaking of teams, do you want to talk about that awesome meme you found about Bran?
Oh, it
I
said.
hate Bran.
It said. What did it say? Well, when you do nothing in the group project but still get an A.
Oh shit! Yes. Yes. Ooh, I would have kicked him off the team.
He sits back in Winterfell and just watches it all, knowing what's going to happen. It's like, screw you, Bran.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna be king, so.
I mean, yeah,
Y'all
you know,
go fuck
thousands of people are going to
yourselves.
die, but I get to be king at the end, so
I
just
hate that decision.
not saying nothing.
And then Sansa's like, "Oh
Yeah,
shit,
powdered
my
lemonade
brother's
for
the
sure.
king. Hey, so you're just gonna give me the north though?" And you're just like, "Okay." That was lame.
Basically.
Well, one of the comments also brought up, like, would the North really not bend the knee to another Stark? They were going to bend the knee to Jon if he would have become ruler of all the Seven Kingdoms.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Why do you not need to be included if you're the one ruling it? It's like, what the hell?
Your
The-
family rules it.
Yeah. So it's all for her to be able to have her own thing.
Well, we were also talking about earlier the nonsense of, like, all right, so Bran can't have
man.
kids. What happens when Bran dies?
Sansa.
In 300 years, though.
Like, it's great that you're all enlightened in the moment, but that's not going to last that long. Like in 300 years, everybody's screwed.
Yeah, because how old was that other three-eyed raven? Or the other
He
one?
looked ancient.
Didn't he say he's been alive for
I
like
think he was-
Wasn't he in
thousands of
a
years?
tree?
No, I think it's
Yeah. Is Bran gonna hook himself up in a tree?
There's gonna be a tree. In
Oh no, they're gonna build he's gonna be the next chair.
I was thinking the wooden throne.
It would just be sitting on him in
the rolling throne.
while he's decaying.
They could say they're going to elect a new king, but if Bran's alive for 1,000 years, by that time everyone's going to be power hungry and probably fighting with the North because they're not part of the kingdoms.
No, you forgot though. He's gonna work into the dragon. He's gonna bring Drogon back.
We don't even know if there's gonna be other dragons.
Yeah.
We don't
well,
know
he's
if
gonna-
dragons live 1,000 years.
Well, he was probably like at the end. He was probably like, "Yo, where's Drogon? Oh, I'll find him." And then he wargs into him so that he could just, I guess, single dragon have other dragons just by himself, self-impregnate, and just boop boop boop, shoot
like
some eggs
asexual
out.
dragons.
Yeah,
Asexual dragon.
I guess you can do that when you're warging. You could do anything now because they don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I also don't like the fact that they made fun of Sam for suggesting democracy. Like, you shouldn't even given him that line to say if that's what you're gonna do when he suggests a good idea. Everyone's just gonna be like, sit your libtard ass down. You know what I mean?
Let the people.
I don't want to hear your far left shit. Sit down.
Let the people decide. Oh my God, you're so funny with your choices.
Or I mean, what about the weird ass moment where the Tully uncle stood up and was going to try to recommend himself for king?
That was awesome. Sam's like, sit the fuck back down.
But it was just like, here's a character we haven't seen in I don't know how many seasons. Half of us were like, who's that? Who's that? Who's that?
I was really frightened about what is this dude about to
Well,
say.
it's to
right
push
now.
his incompetence because he's always been looked at as like he's like the dumb guy. Because remember that scene where he was supposed to shoot the arrow to catch the thing on fire when the dude's body was going down the river and he missed 3 shots and then
Was that him?
yeah.
I did not even know that.
I didn't know that either.
Okay.
I don't know how I would rewrite it, Maria. Anybody have any ideas of how they would rewrite the finale?
Bran not on the Iron Throne.
Because I think you'd have to go back a couple episodes and rewrite a couple other things to get
Cut
to
this
a finale.
episode down to 5 minutes and you'd be done.
Okay. I'm gonna rewrite it all for you right now. You ready?
As you chew on
Yeah.
9 gummy bears. at
I'm
one
also
time.
I'm also giving them some ASMR action.
I
Mm.
hate you.
Okay.
Pass those gummy bears over.
Man, you guys got a weird problem. Write it.
They're
Go.
all
All
waiting
right.
here.
So John is like, Daenerys, what's good? That was crazy. Why'd you do that? You burned everybody. Yeah, well, they all had to die. No, they didn't. You're right. Sorry, I won't do it again. Okay, cool. All right, now you're like cool with like hooking up. You're not gonna be weird anymore. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, so you want to just rule this shit together? Yeah, sure. Cool. I heard. What do you want to do with your brother? I don't know. He doesn't really matter. What do you want to do with your sister? Just tell her to stop acting all foolish and shit. Okay. And then everything's happily ever after. Right? Yeah. Oh, thank
So
you.
John and Danny are ruling together.
And then they
Into
both
the mic, Jazz. Into the
they
mic.
both get eaten by the dragon, and the dragon has their soul inside the body. Oh, it turns into Dragon Heart. You remember that
Yeah, it's
movie?
Medela.
That was a good movie.
I think
And then Sean Connery's voice starts coming out of the dragon.
Oh yeah.
I think everything that happened are the moments that needed to happen. It's just the way they got there was really, really bad. And like I said, the way they got there, those moments carried no fucking weight. So I think John killing Danny needed to happen. Throne getting eviscerated needed to happen. For as like the symbolism of all this stuff of what the show was about. Like all these moments were kind of
Guys, it's all going to be great in the books.
telling.
Just give it like 10
We're
years.
telling
We'll
of
have
what
the last
show
books.
was leading up to. It's just that they decided to throw in more poop jokes than they should have.
Was
in
that the
between.
beginning of the end? That season that started with the weird ass, like, gross. Remember
That
when-
was the beginning of season 6, or no, was it 7?
I don't remember. It was
They did
Sam.
that quick cut in him in the Citadel with the poop in the
poop, I
soup.
remember
It's like when they started doing gross
Yeah.
out humor. It was like,
That was when you knew.
Oh yeah,
It's
when he
different
went
now.
went to go poke the grayscale and it turned into a chicken pot pie.
Oh, I do remember that. That That was in the same episode, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah, I do believe that the show being wildly popular as it was did ruin it, because there are moments in the show where it's like they know how popular they are. And so the tone kind of changed because the show kind of becomes oddly self-aware of what it is, and they think that they can get away. What? What are you talking about? Why are you doing this to me? I'm right fucking here.
Oh my god.
I guess I'm
He's having
having
a hipster moment. It's so true.
Oh man, no, I feel your pain, dude. That's my life.
No, if you can go, and it's unfortunate because it's when they go off the source material.
So
They didn't know they didn't know what to do.
That's something a hipster will say.
And what about that ending? There was like 4 different endings.
Oh my God! It was a Lord of the Rings ending, Lord of the Return of the King ending. You just kept thinking like, okay, it's over. Oh no. Oh, it faded to black. Oh no. The gate's coming down. It's going black. Oh no. He's
Yo.
still walking into the wild.
Oh man, I just thought of something. What? Wasn't the whole Arya killing the Night King thing basically like the end of Lord of the Rings, where she's like, I can't be killed by any man, and then she's like, I'm no man, and then stabs him?
I think I told Jasmine
You
that
told
when
me
it
that one.
happened.
You told me that. Yeah.
But the stealing from Lord of the Rings has just continued all season. They don't have
They
source
have nothing
material,
else to go
so
off of.
they're like, let's steal from
Dan
another
and
famous
Dave.
book.
Dan and Dave.
Yeah, I think stuff got inked. They are going to do Star Wars, right?
Yeah. They are doing 20.
That's in stone. They're gonna do it, and
Well-
they're going to fuck it up.
With the way, well, we're not talking about that. I'm not.
This whole season
Oh,
was
yeah.
basically fucked over any other titles that they're gonna do with this. Like all the whatever prequels they're gonna do.
Oh, do you think they're doing a sequel with Arya? Because it felt like they were backdoor piloting
100%.
Arya.
100%.
I don't think if they do, that's gonna be
Did you
way
say,
garbage.
wait, did you just say they're gonna backdoor Arya?
Backdoor pilot. Backdoor pilot.
Oh no.
Yeah, that was gross.
She's gonna be the Christopher Columbus.
What?
Oh, she's gonna kill a bunch of
Yeah,
Native
she's
Americans.
about to commit genocide. Like,
Yeah.
who are these weird savages? And just use her double-sided thing and just
That
Darth
turned
Maul
really
with just
dark
a bunch of.
very quickly. That was not my intention.
Yeah. Oh man, there's just be lawyers. They're like, oh my God, there's this tiny girl with a needle. She's fucking poking our people to death.
Okay, let's list all the things that were hyped up to be awesome and just never happened.
Everything.
Number one, Arya doing. I mean, she killed the Night King. Significant. But when I go in and I keep thinking the Night King's not even in the books. So what is Arya's purpose besides
Oh.
killing the Night King? Nothing. Cersei being a badass, having some kind of plan, being the big villain. Nothing.
I think that's the thing though, was when the city's being leveled and we did see wildfire. It was coming out of tops of buildings. I think I do have a theory, and I think Maria said this last episode.
Wait, Julian's got to go in. Jon Snow being Targaryen. Pointless.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my gosh,
There was-
yeah.
There was nothing.
Bran's superpowers. Pointless.
Yeah.
Oh, the fucking horse! God damn it!
Oh, the white horse!
What did he warg into then? They didn't like in the Battle of Winterfell.
No,
Ravens.
I personally love the meme
Oh.
where he warged out and he went to go see Endgame.
Man, that dude's garbage.
Come on, there's more. There's more. Jamie and Brienne's relationship.
Pointless.
We all
Pointless.
Know, well, the writers took it in their own
Actually,
way. Still upset.
Jamie's whole plot throughout season 1 to now, pointless.
Well,
Euron Greyjoy, pointless.
yeah. Well, that dude was such a garbage. Character.
Because Euron was supposed to be the character that upped the ante for the maniac in the show, right? Because we got Joffrey and then Ramsay, and then he was supposed to step in place as the craziest son of a bitch we've ever seen.
then
And
Yara
and
raped
And
all
his,
he
his
did
death
was-
was an incidental death.
Well, he's
Yeah.
also supposed to open up the other mythos of the Game of Thrones world, because he starts
How?
telling people. Because when in the books he comes in, like he's like, I have a horn that can control dragons. He has all these things that he's collected from all around the world. That's why he thinks. I guess he has like a supposedly
They
an
spend
eye.
Martin spends so much time on Euron and actually all of the Greyjoys in the books, and it builds them up and the Dornish up to be something that they just kind of blatantly ignore in the show. And I think that's a large part of the stuff that they cut out and why it was all so thin in the last few seasons.
Because the Dornish are also supposed to be revered as being the only group of people that were able to not be conquered by the Targaryens, and nobody knows how they did it.
I forgot about that, yeah.
And but then the Sand Snakes just kill them or fuck their own shit up. Like, what the fuck?
Mary Poopin, I don't understand your reference. But that shirt, though.
Probably Euron's shirt.
Your shirt?
That blousey thing he always wore.
Wow.
Wow, that was a conversation killer. Thanks, Mary Poopins.
Well, I don't know. It's like they wanted to make him more. It's like, no, we should make him like a Jack Sparrow because that's a pirate.
No,
but
oh man, yeah, he was garbage. Because there's also supposed to be like other brothers and stuff, and they mix Euron. It was like Euron. He was like
there's a
Euron
crazy religious brother.
Yeah, there's that one, and
because there's the drowned god that also brings people back from the dead.
Oh yeah, and then Victarion.
There's all this crazy shit in the books that they were just like, no, I'm not going to do that. We got a much better ending in the show. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
we're also going to bring on Ed Sheeran to do a song.
You've never gotten over the Ed
No,
Sheeran-ness
because
of it
that
all.
was a big mark of where the show was heading.
Well, the other kid in that scene was from, was it, I think, This Is Britain or something? Or he was in a movie that is really good.
Ed Sheeran?
No, the other kid that was in that scene, the blonde-haired kid with the bug eyes.
Yeah, see, but at the same time, though, it's like, oh, we're just going to let celebrities that are fans be in the show because, like, how fun is that?
Well, you know, there, I think, when, in that scene where Euron takes over Yara's boats, the dudes from Always Sunny are in that scene.
Yeah.
One of them gets shot in the eye with an arrow.
Really?
Yeah. Mac and
Dennis?
was it Dennis or
Charlie?
Charlie? Might have been Dennis. I think it's Dennis.
Interesting.
There's a few celebrities that made appearances over the seasons.
All right, so let's talk Game of Thrones, the whole experience. We had the ending, and then the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
Would you recommend somebody to watch Game of Thrones if they've never seen it?
Probably the first 6 seasons. I'm just kidding.
This felt like becoming a drug addict, where like when you first start doing meth, it's fucking great, and then towards the end, you're like, yo, it doesn't matter how much I do, I can't get that high again.
I'm becoming a meth addict. Clearly.
I think that's an apt metaphor.
Yeah.
But
Or he also said it's like having sex for 3 days, but instead of coming, you poop yourself.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wait, what?
That's what
Jesus
Game of Thrones
Christ.
was.
what is happening?
Yeah.
So again, would you recommend it to somebody? Would you recommend the experience?
It's like Dexter. It's leading up to the ending is great, but everything at the last like season, just like, what the fuck did I just waste my life for?
But
Pretty
if the payoff isn't there, is it worth
No.
watching all those episodes?
No.
Because at the end of the day, is it about the end or is it about the journey? Did you like all those episodes?
That's
Well,
bullshit.
the thing is, though, the end is part of the journey. You're setting yourself up what we are all experiencing, a fucking disappointment.
Yeah, I think I think it would be weird though to not recommend the biggest TV show in the world ever. The biggest TV show ever. It'd be weird to tell someone, you shouldn't watch it. Because I think what we learned was
fuck that.
it is all about the journey because they fucked up the end because there was no substance, right? The journey got really fucked up. And all they did was move the plot forward throughout this last season or the last 2 seasons. And we didn't get intricate journey.
I found out a few of my coworkers never watched Game of Thrones and they're waiting for everything to end. Tomorrow, I'm going straight up don't fucking bother. Like, I'm starting right
wow,
now.
you're a bad person. You have to let him watch it.
No, I'm gonna tell him, don't fucking bother. It's not
Well,
worth it.
I feel like everyone should just.
Into the mic.
Oh, sorry. I mean, it was a good show. I think that there was just a lot of high expectations for the last season, which didn't get met. But that doesn't really negate the fact that the other seasons were really, really good. So I can see where you're coming from. The journey was great.
The destination was lacking.
It's gonna be like Dexter to me. Like, Dexter was a good show until the fucking last season. Don't watch it. Same with Game of Thrones.
You know those puzzles that they had in magazines or like at the doctor's office, where it's like you have to like find the path from like A to Z, but there's all these like other paths and stuff. I feel like it was a really intricate one, but then it's one of those ones where you're going, and then the further you get to where the end part is, it just all starts to thin out. Then you're like, yo, by the time you get halfway, you're like, yo, I know exactly where it's going. It's just a straight line in the end. You're like, oh, okay, now this sucks.
That space was terrible.
Like, oh man, now I just feel like I'm ready to get my teeth drilled at the dentist.
I feel like you didn't make it to the end of a lot of those mazes.
Well, you know those other things that they had at the doctor's office with all those like little wood pegs that you go through. The like the wires.
How often were you at the doctor's
The different
office?
color wires.
Yeah. So it was like a big one of those.
It's a made-up maze. It looks like you're figuring this out, but you're not doing it.
Yeah, but then you get halfway and then it goes by itself as
There's all these twists and turns, but it still just
Yeah.
ends up where the colored bar hits the wood.
Yeah. And then and then it's over and then you're like, okay.
Then you go backwards.
Yeah. Yeah, so you just keep doing it over and over again until your mom just tells you, hey, yo, stop touching that. Why don't you read this Us magazine?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
Talk
think-
about favorite things.
I don't think-
Wait, no, Nick. So are you gonna recommend this?
I feel like by precedent, I have to recommend the show because I'm a big believer in the endings should not ruin a show and that endings can be interpreted in many different ways. I'm not going to talk about the show that I usually argue
You
this
have
about.
a big show in
But
mind.
we're not going to talk about the other show. But Game of Thrones carried itself very well for 6 seasons. That's a long haul for any series. I feel like it's a disservice to all the work that they put in and the good episodes they made to say you fucked up the ending, get out of here. Because most TV shows fuck up the ending. And that doesn't mean they're bad TV shows.
But would you allow like a season of baseball to be in, like, for them to recall it on ESPN? Would you watch like one of their ESPN specials about a season of baseball where all the teams are doing really well, everybody's beating this team, that team, and then the World Series, everybody gets a participation trophy?
I mean, certainly speaking, right now you don't even have to talk about baseball. You have the Warriors right there.
Like any sport, everybody gets
You know
participation
what it-
trophy.
okay.
Alex said watching this finale was like watching the Patriots win again.
All right, we've been ignoring the commenters for a little long, but Jazz,
Oh, sorry, Aaron.
is there anyone on the show you wish you'd seen more of who didn't get a good wrap up to their story?
Jon Snow. He got the shitty end of the deal.
No, we
I
saw
wanted-
plenty of Jon Snow.
With Jon Snow, I wanted him to die. Like, how many times are you gonna say, "She's my queen, but she's our queen"?
I wish.
They did make you hate
No.
both of them by the middle of the episode.
Okay, honestly, I feel like this could be one show where if they had more seasons, like 7 and 8 would be the couple seasons that were like pretty shitty, and then like maybe season 9 and 10 got better. I feel like Jon Snow could have redeemed himself at one point.
I mean, for me, it would be Arya. I mean, we saw her face swap once.
She never
Throughout-
used any of her powers.
Yeah, like I want to see
I-
more of that.
I would have liked for Jorah to have gotten more screen time, so that it set up how disappointed he would be to see that she's lost it.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's true.
That's a really good
That
one.
is good.
But his death is what kind of like spurred her into her madness.
Yo, what do you think's
Oh,
gonna
sorry.
happen in a war? You came over here to conquer, and you weren't ready for the main thing that wars do: death.
She wasn't ready for any of that.
I wanted to see more dire wolves. They could have.
yeah.
They could have done more dire
Nymeria
wolves.
should have
still
come
alive.
back. What
She
the-
should have been
She's still
chewing.
alive.
I love
chewing White Walkers from the back.
That could have been a really good reunion story with her and Ghost.
There was a meme with Benioff, a picture of Benioff, and he's like, "Yeah, so we kind of forgot Nymeria was a wolf," and they were talking about the horse. He has a picture of the horse, like, "Yeah, we kind of forgot Nymeria was a wolf."
Yeah.
Wow.
Our bad.
But that was a meme. That wasn't a real thing.
Oh, I know it wasn't real, but it's
Just so we're clear to people
well,
watching
we're
us.
We're
Oh yeah, I know.
talking about memes. What else?
I would have liked to see Ned Stark in the finale.
What?
Oh, how they gonna do that?
A flashback.
Or
Oh,
no.
Joe can
It
do
would have
that.
been cool if Ned Stark, like when, instead of Jon Snow constantly saying like she's my queen, blah 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 blah, I'm just gonna stick to the script. He has like a premonition or he has a dream where he sees Ned Stark and he's like, "Yo, dude, did you not see my head get chopped off from sticking to the rules so hard?" It's like, "Yo, dude, loosen up."
I don't know. I feel weird about. I would have felt weird about flashbacks. I did not want it to turn into a clip show. That would have been real cheesy.
But you got Bran, who's the natural flashback man.
I
Didn't
think
mean
For
that
no
line.
reason.
They did. For no
He does
reason.
nothing with it. He's like, "Yo, I can make crows fly and see what they're seeing. Oh shit, they're coming. Did you want to know that? You should have told me. I didn't know what you were looking at." Well,
Setting up himself. That's all he's doing.
yeah. Oh man, yo, how about what's keeping the rest of the kingdom from just being like, "Yo, this dude has fucking magic powers and he used it to get the fucking throne.
That's what I was
Maybe
saying.
fuck that guy."
That's what I was thinking the whole time.
Okay, and then, but he's just gonna like keep people at bay, like, "Oh, I don't think you should be king." It's like, "Oh, I don't think you should like marry that woman." Why? I'm not gonna tell you unless you let me be king. Oh fuck.
Jazz, I think you had a question earlier.
I forgot what it was.
What moments from the series did we really enjoy?
Oh yeah, let's look at the
And that's a
positive
good. That's a
thing.
good question for the commenters too. Was there anything that stood out for you after 8 seasons that you're like, this was Game of Thrones for me? I would say the Battle of Hardhome was a high point. The first time they had a
Oh,
big
that was a
battle with
good
the White
one.
Walkers, I thought that was a really cool scene.
Battle of the Bastards was dope.
So we're all just gonna name different battles.
No,
Cool.
when Ramsay finally got his, when he got eaten by
yeah.
the dogs.
The thing
for
is,
Sansa.
all the like heavy revenge moments. My favorite revenge moment was the one that Cersei got on the Dornish or the Sand Snakes or whatever.
With
Because
Marcella?
Ooh, by the way, Mary Poopin's favorite moment was Oberon versus the Mountain.
that was good.
Oh,
Badass
that was a
scene,
good
that.
one. Yeah, that was a good one.
But I just feel like the payoff for her to be like, yeah, you get to just sit there and watch her crumble and die, and then everybody else just gets killed really fast when it's revenge time.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I want a long fuck you moment.
Julian's got 2: Viper versus the Mountain, or same thing, and then Tyrion commanding a trial by combat. Also, I want to point out, back to the other topic about like disappointing things, the Mountain versus the Hound. I thought that was a disappointing. Did not pay off as much as I thought it would.
Yeah.
Well, because I
It
mean,
was an unfair
But-
battle.
But sorry, I digress. We're doing happy things now
Oh yeah. How are we going back into whining?
because it's fun to whine.
yeah. But a real
We're out of it.
real quick, I think a big part of for me why the Mountain got fucked up is that they recasted him. I liked the original casting because it kind of he resembled.
They look like brothers.
Yeah, they look like this dude. Like he's like fat buff. Like he's just
Mary Poopin says, "I didn't know Uncle
what's his-
Fester was in the
what's his-
show."
What's his real name? Thor Bjornsson.
yeah. I mean that dude looks like
They got Thor.
Yeah, this guy's name's Thor.
like when he took his armor off, he looked like they just left a dude in the ocean for like 5 months and then like took the corpse out and then reanimated the shit. He just looked bloated.
Julian's on his 3rd. The Hound saying bye to Arya was sweet.
What about Baelish's monologue about how chaos is a ladder. Wasn't that a good one?
Well,
I like that one.
Peter Baelish was a solid character.
He was.
But that was another time where it's like, oh, the show lost something special there because he was really
He's
like.
good.
But they
When
killed
their
him
aunt
in such a
got-
basic ass way.
When their aunt got pushed through that hole and
Oh,
fell.
through the moon,
Yeah.
the moon door. Wasn't that what it was called?
The moon door, yeah.
She needed to die for a while too.
Yeah. Or when Braun did the trial by combat and beat her champion, that was a fun one.
Oh yeah, back when we liked Braun.
Ooh, Brienne's bear fight. That was a great episode.
Oh, I forgot about
Yeah.
that. That was amazing.
yeah,
back in
Brienne's
Harrenhal.
yeah, Brienne's bear fight was dope.
Khal Drogo.
Oh,
Good
Now
looking.
you're saying
I'm kidding.
way throwback.
Oh, what about when Khal Drogo ripped
Wait.
that dude's tongue out?
Julian hard disagree. Theon's death, the stupid charge with the spear. I like the point of it. No pun intended.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
I get why he did it, but I thought that was such a piss poor way of editing it and showing it because it just seemed stupid.
I mean, it's kind of like who he was, though, a little bit. I don't know. He had like good intentions, but he just did not know how to execute.
Jazz, paracetamol agrees with you.
I know.
It's
Any
also
scene with Khal Drogo.
it's also hard to like how bad he gets is Reek in the books. It's hard to imagine that George R. R. Martin is really going to take him this far back to who he used to be.
Because they whitewashed a lot of like the darker elements of the books for the show because they didn't want to go that like half of Tyrion's nose is supposed to be gone. He's supposed to look like the Red Skull in Captain America, where it's just like
Just like a mini version.
Well, I
it's
mean,
just like off and it's just like a hole in his face.
but Peter Dinklage as it is already like the Brad Pitt of dwarfs.
Are you allowed to say that?
I mean, I
Yeah.
did. I just said it.
Okay.
Shut us down! I dare you.
Sorry.
Switch cameras.
I mean,
now.
that's
Other great moments. I mean, I know it wasn't a happy moment, but the red wedding was
That was a
pretty epic.
That was
good. That was a good.
that was.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad I got to watch that live.
I'm glad. I mean, I read the book, so I'm so glad I got to watch that with people because I wasn't even watching the screen. I was just watching people's reactions, and it was just like
when Ned Stark died. I got that ruined for me right before I watched that episode when I first started watching Game of Thrones.
That sucks.
And the way that I got it ruined for me was what's the actor's name? Sean
Bean.
Sean Bean. My friend was like, "Oh, is that Sean Bean in that show?" My roommate. And then I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yo, have you seen the Sean Bean death compilation video? He dies in like every movie." And I was like, "Oh, cool."
It's very true though.
Sure, I'll watch it. So we watch it, and he gets killed his death scene from Game of Thrones is in it. And I was like, "Yo, that was Game of Thrones. What the fuck? You didn't bet this before? Oh my god!"
You didn't bet this before.
He's like, "Oh no, I bet it was from another like medieval movie that he
It's
did."
another HBO fantasy show that he's in.
But he was like, "Oh, I think that was the Lord of the Rings death." And I was like, "No, idiot! We saw the Lord of the Rings death. He died twice in it."
That's amazing.
Do you think this is going to ruin fantasy for casual viewers? Because I feel like what this show did was bring fantasy to a lot of people who don't usually watch fantasy stuff.
I think it's gonna fuck up
Does
some
this
high
put
schools.
does this put a bad taste in people's mouths?
Jocks are gonna become jocks again and be like, "Nerd."
They're
Remember
gonna-
that show you loved so much? Oh, how sucky was the ending?
So the theory here is they're gonna beat up nerds because they've been wounded internally by the ending of Game of Thrones.
Hurt people hurt people.
You know what? It's gonna be funny because I think we all are very disappointed, but I'm pretty sure there's people out there that actually like really loved this season
Because they don't know how to read.
because there's nothing to read about this.
These
Sorry.
books.
Can you not hear me? Okay.
Not that. Look
I
how
thought-
look how close everyone is.
All right. I'm sorry for not talking into the mic as much.
Don't make me start making jokes,
It's-
Jazz.
I don't know what you could have taken away from that, but okay.
Just about you getting close to things. Moving on.
I don't know how to take that.
I I have heard people that have defended the season already and don't think the season is that bad.
Yeah.
Again, they don't know how to read.
I still think everybody is entitled to their own opinion on things.
Wrong.
I'm jealous of those people that still enjoyed it.
Yeah, they're just living in a cloud.
So 2 of the biggest hipsters in our group are in between me and Graf. I'm kidding.
I think part of it is some of the people that don't think it's that bad, maybe they just haven't experienced as much.
They
sci-fi
like-
fantasy.
Because all right, I'll give some viewers that the last couple episodes have been like visually stimulating. Like it was cool to see. It just didn't make sense.
Yeah, these last few, they went really hard in making sure that these shots were really cool.
Yeah, it was like
They went super hard in the paint with the
like the dragon flying through the city, burning
I thought-
everything, the falling buildings.
is it just me, or do you guys think the costume design kind of like
Oh, it went up.
it went up?
I think it went
No,
up.
I think it got worse. I think they went a little too weird with some of these costume designs. They got too self-indulgent. They were very I don't know.
Gaudy? Like
A
something
little bit. They got pretty close to gaudy.
like less tactical, more like flashy.
Kinda.
Oh, I'll say Julian said Danny with the dragon wings was pretty cool.
That was a cool
That
shot
was
when
a
she
really
was walking
cool
up.
shot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Wait, what shot?
In the
At the
beginning of
end
this
when she
episode,
is-
she's walking up and the dragon's behind her and it's got the wings and it's kind of
I think
slapping
the
you in the
people-
face like Dragon Queen.
I think the people who defend the series as a whole, or that are defending this last season, are the same people whose favorite movies are all those parody movies. Like they're like, oh yeah, disaster movie is a masterpiece.
I need an olive pit glass now.
Like Sharknado?
Yeah, the people. I mean, well, yeah, like Haunted House.
No. Oh, those parody movies.
Yeah, all those parody movies. The people who follow that shit and is like, oh,
Yeah.
it's like a parody CU.
I would agree that Cersei's death was a letdown.
That was a major letdown for both Cersei and Jaime.
Cersei deserved more gore.
How would you wanted her to die? How would you?
Arya.
Just something gory.
I
Just
would've liked
something
Arya killing
really
her.
No,
fucking-
if Arya got all the bodies, I would have been like, yo, get the hell
I was
out
reading
of
somebody because, like, remember when the red lady tells her, like, I see
Oh.
red eyes, green eyes.
This is what I would have been great. This is what would have been great. If they caught Cersei, sent her back up to Sansa, and Sansa killed her. That would have been rewarding.
Yo, what if they did this? They didn't kill Tywin, and
Jesus, Julian.
they had, and then
What
they
did he say?
they collected Cersei, brought her and Tywin to the north, and Sansa cut Tywin's head off in front of her, and then fed it to her, fed her the rest of the body.
That's really bad.
Yeah, that's really dark, Julian. Julian.
What if,
Kill that. Oh, sorry. We're time to be talking about
oh shit.
killing
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah,
Red
let's
Wedding.
not.
Julian, I agree.
That's the Red Wedding all over again.
Wow, I bet. Whew.
I like the comment I was laughing about earlier. More bells, more shaming bells.
Oh,
That was a
that's-
great moment in the show. Everybody remembered that.
that's
a
what
really
they
good
should have.
moment.
That's how they should have killed
Shame.
Cersei.
Shame.
They should have redone the whole shame thing, but as she's walking through the city, it's burning around her while she's being reshamed. Yeah.
And then they stab her in the belly.
What, can we get off of this?
Oh,
Well, they're bringing up that they did it already in the Red Wedding, so that's why it makes sense for the show. But it would have been very unlucky
Oh man.
for Game of Thrones to be doing baby killing, especially amidst what's going on right now in the
Oh, yeah,
country.
that's true,
That would have been
yeah.
real unlucky.
I'm pretty sure the shame nun died when Cersei blew up the Sept with all of her enemies.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she got raped to death.
Yeah, well, yeah, but that's an elected position. You can get another
the
shame
nun
nun.
is with the mountain.
She was an all-star of the season, of the series.
The shame nun.
Like, how many people do you know of that, like, for months afterwards did shame?
Oh yeah, that was a.
Oh no, I did oysters, clams, and cockles. That's what I did for months.
I believe we were at a wedding and we shamed people that left early. Do you not remember that?
Oh yeah.
But what about the seafood bar at that wedding?
Yeah. There were great moments. That's my point.
All
Everybody
right.
can look back and laugh and remember great moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how do you
honestly,
sell it to somebody? Do you have to just be like, "Hey, man, the series is so awesome. You gotta watch it." but don't get your hopes up for the end.
That's exactly
Basically-
how I will sell it.
It's like enjoy the ride, but don't expect much from the end
I'll
of
be
it.
like, you know what? It was good. You should totally watch it.
But that ending, though.
Just sucked.
I mean,
Just have your expectations.
Breaking
in the
Bad
medium.
landed it.
Breaking Bad was
Breaking
like,
Bad is my
if
favorite.
you're gonna
show of
end
all
a
time.
series, Breaking Bad did it like
Breaking Bad
perfectly.
nailed it.
That's how they should have ended the series.
The only thing that's very
Meth.
different is fantasy has a lot more weight on its shoulder when it comes to ending things because there's mystery, there's magic, there's spectacle. Breaking Bad always had the amazing actors, amazing story, amazing writers, and that's all they really had to worry about. They didn't have to do the special effects and the like wow factor that Game of Thrones had to worry about. And that's not to take anything away from Breaking Bad because look at all the shows that messed it up in the end without having visual spectacle. Like Breaking Bad is amazing for what it did, but Game of Thrones had a lot of extra pressure on it besides just getting there.
Sure.
I also think
Dragon budget.
part of the problem there too is the aspect of possibly HBO gave them too much leeway. So
Sorry, I just really like Aegon Targaryen. like tuna Tartarian. I like that name. They went.
no, but
and
what
they
I
made
was
Raisin Bran the king. Yeah, Raisin Bran the broken.
what I was saying is the aspect of I think HBO gave them a little too much leeway instead of like what AMC did with Breaking Bad, and they had to like build this ending, this series finale within a box and make it as good as they can. Because didn't HBO just give them like 2 years to do everything and up their
I thought
budget?
Breaking Bad was in the same situation though. They had like the last 2 seasons were 6 episodes, and they were told like that's it.
I'm pretty sure Breaking Bad also had to deal with that writer's strike that went on.
No, they did. They definitely did.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
Well,
right.
HBO would have given them more seasons, but I think the actors and the Dan and Dave were just not. They all originally only wanted to do 7 seasons.
Because there was 7 books. I think they wanted to keep it to the book length.
But then when discussing with George R. R. Martin, he was like, "Yo, it's not gonna fit." From the get-go, he was like, "Yo, it's not gonna fit. The other books are fucking huge."
Yeah.
That's
because-
really what he said.
Well, she almost got there. I thought for sure you were going to say something else.
Because
That's what
Danny-
she said.
It's your catchphrase. Come on.
Danny's decline into insanity needed to take a lot longer.
It did.
It needed to, because the whole time it's like when you think about it, there were moments, the moments where she's like
Yeah, you
just
got that
driven
before.
by, where she's just driven by wanting to be queen, and she has these really kind of petty moments of power and expressing power. I guess you're supposed to look back and it's like, oh, that's where that's where her character flies, and that's what
But
it
seemed
turns
like
into this.
it seemed like character arc moments instead of like, oh, look,
Right.
she was always bad. It seemed like these
Yeah.
were things she was overcoming to become a better queen.
Yeah.
So yeah, it didn't have the right context. But now that we have that context, like, oh, she's just kind of turning nuts. So like she's kind of drunk on power, so to speak. But like you said, you think these are just learning moments for her. And
Well, it's like what Tyrion said. Is the aspect that it's not really nuts in a sense that throughout this whole time of her doing things and freeing slaves and whatnot, everyone was cheering for her. So it's like she's at that point where she can't. What?
The Tyrion speech bothered me so much because that was such a
It's a cop out.
tell people what happened because we didn't show it. And that's the worst thing you're supposed to do in these things is you're not supposed to tell, you're supposed to show. And it was like the writers of the show knew, oh, we fucked up and nobody's going to believe this. So Tyrion needs to have a speech to explain why she went crazy because we didn't really show why she went crazy. So let him go on for 5 minutes about like, here's where she was going nuts. It happened then and then and then and then, and you should have seen it. And if you didn't see it, it's your own fault. And it was just like, don't patronize to me. You screwed this up.
Yeah. There was, I forget what the line was, but it did really feel like the show started to like pat itself on the back a little bit with the line about people love stories, right? And we told the best one.
It was a
It was
Tyrion
like-
one about like who
Yeah,
has the
the
best
gathering.
backstory.
It was
Oh,
when he
yeah.
wasn't in the book.
Yeah. No. It was at that gathering when they're
When
picking
he's
the
trying
king.
to build up Bran.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He has like people
Oh,
love
yeah.
stories, and I was like, "Are you?"
That actually is a pretty dumb reason to pick a king. Straight up.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Gives you
yo.
the
Yeah.
backstory.
Democracy gets laughed at, but this dude's got a sick story.
Are they making a comment on our current situation? It's like, dude, this dude has some dope ass reality shows.
Well, they were also like revering him, like, oh, the three-eyed raven. He's got all these stories, and look at all he did to get
But he
us
doesn't
here.
tell any
But
of
what,
them.
exactly. What did he do? He did nothing.
Cool, he's keeping the stories to himself. What's the point
Did
of the
you
fucking
like
book
catch
if
that
you
line
can't read
where
it?
it's just like, Bran, will you be king? And he's like, why do you think I'm here? I'm like,
Jon
you
Snow
fucking
conquered
douche.
death.
You fucking douche. You knew this all along that you were going to be king.
Yeah.
You let everyone die.
I agree that his story sucks ass compared to the rest.
Yeah. But basically, this last season was like if all 5 of these books culminated into the last book just being a single issue of a comic book.
Are you talking shit about comic books?
No, but a single issue of a comic book, do you think is enough to
Yeah.
conclude all this? That's a lot of pages.
Oh, Adam Kell has another good moment, even though it's super sad. Hodor's death.
Hold
that
the door.
That was a
So
moment right
sad.
there.
But basically, Bran did that shit to him.
Yeah, it's Bran's fault again, that little dick.
But if he can do that kind of shit, that was him intervening. He could have intervened in other ways.
That is such a true and good point. He's a terrible human being.
Well, he could have always worked into the dragons. So think about that. He could have stopped the massacre of King's Landing.
Oh, he's a little shit. George R. R. Martin didn't think about that.
He also could have not let Jon kill Daenerys and then had figured some other way to get somebody else to do it. And then because he knew so that Jon didn't have to suffer. And just be like, and then tell everybody, yo, you know, because like he gave him the option where Jon's like, yo, what should I do? He's like, it's your choice whether you want to tell them.
Yeah. Okay. So what was going on
Little prick. It's a
when they were in that like circle at the very end of this episode? What? 5 of the people knew that Jon Snow was a rightful king.
Yeah,
Yet no one said shit.
Yeah.
I honestly thought that he was going to say, like, I know who should be king. Jon Snow, because he's a rightful heir.
I was more bothered by the fact that when he was about to kill her, I was literally like, oh, that's right, they're in love. I completely forgot about this plot point because it means nothing.
There's like, it's not really a mutiny, right? If he's the rightful heir and he kills Dany.
I don't understand nobody bringing up the Jon's rightful. Like, they were all afraid of the Unsullied. Was that the problem?
Yeah, Grey Worm's an asshole now. Like,
Yeah.
I get that Missandei's gone, but yo, dude, I thought you were supposed to be like at least a little bit rational, right?
Yeah, he's like, everybody's got to
What did
pay.
he turn? Grey Worm turned into the very weird character.
Yeah, he arced in a bad direction. Well, he didn't really arc. He just, like, suddenly turned.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Yeah.
And then like I said earlier, like, does no one realize that they can just wait those dudes out because they can't bear children? So they can just, like, you know, we can just wait you out until you just die of natural causes, right? Like, Bran's young as fuck.
He's going to live forever. Oh, but he can't have kids either.
Oh, I get it. Well,
He
we
can't
don't
have
know
kids?
that.
No,
Oh,
well,
like
that's what they said.
His legs don't
Well,
work,
no,
but you don't know that.
He
doesn't
can
work.
have kids, but they said in the new rules, it's not going to be based on heir. It's going to be based on them voting.
But they mentioned that after Tyrion was like, oh, he can't bear, or because someone's like, but he can't bear any children, and then they're like, and
Yeah,
then
that's what
Tyrion,
Sansa said.
and then Tyrion was like, it doesn't matter, it's gonna be based on voting.
I know they're like, no, he was like, King's kids suck anyway.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
Yeah, y'all remember
We'll just
Joffrey?
pick
That
another one.
dude.
What do you mean we're just gonna
sucked.
pick another one?
Yeah.
Like, this is so
Did
easy.
anybody else worry about the people near the island of Nath or whatever it was
We
called?
don't even know where Isle of Nath is.
Well, because in my head I was like, it's gonna be an island full of
No, because that's what they're doing.
these unsullied men. But eventually they're gonna need to reproduce, so they're just gonna start kidnapping people to, like,
But they're not gonna.
How
are they gonna
could they? They're just gonna
reproduce?
Well, that's
bust
the
their
thing.
nubs.
they can't reproduce, so they're just gonna kidnap people and, like, turn them into unsullied.
Well, why don't they just kidnap people and then let them keep their ding dongs,
It took a dark turn.
and then that
Like,
future.
what is
will
the end
be able
game
to
for the
reproduce.
Unsullied? Are they just planning to go to this island and die?
No, they're just. I mean, they're looking for somebody.
What about the
else to-
Dothraki? Are they going back to?
Yeah, how are the other Dothraki gonna receive them? They're just gonna be like, "Oh, hey, what's up? Oh, remember when I was the cow? Nah, dog, that was a while
Nath
ago."
is where Missandei is from.
Oh.
Good call.
See, I knew it was important somehow.
Yeah.
But now I kind of just want them to. I'm like over Westeros as a thing.
Oh, good. You can watch the Arya show where she goes to the
No,
Westeros.
That show could
Native
eat a
Westerns.
bag of shit.
No,
Even more Westeros.
I think someone asked if we would watch any Game of Thrones spin-offs, and I'm not watching a minute of it. There's no source material, so you're not going to do it right. So
I
why
would
would I
watch
care?
one episode
No.
and
Actually, no. It might
Not
actually
giving
do
it
a little
any
better
more time.
because there's no source material.
They have better shows coming out, like Watchmen. They just showed that his Dark Materials looks really cool.
oh yeah, I would watch that.
What else?
And his Dark Materials has source material.
Yeah, right. that book's finished.
And
Well-
the author is currently writing a bunch more books in case they need more.
Oh
Well,
no.
same
no.
with Wheel of Time, because they're planning on doing.
Oh,
Wheel
did
of Time.
HBO's doing Wheel of Time too?
No,
I'm pretty
not
sure,
HBO,
I'm pretty sure
Amazon.
HBO's pissed. They're like, wow, we
But
got
Wheel of
kicked in
Time
the
is
dick
done.
for picking a series that wasn't finished. You know what I mean?
Well,
so they're probably
not
like
In
never
their
necessarily.
again.
defense, when they started shooting it like 10 years ago, he was done with 4 of 7 books. And they were probably
Yeah.
like, oh, he'll finish.
Because
He'll
what is
finish long before we get there. Don't worry about it. People don't take 10 years to write
Barry
a book.
is very good. I'm
well,
just
why
not
would
cutting.
you think that HBO
Oh,
would be
Chernobyl looks
upset?
really cool,
Everyone
too.
still watched this season. It's not like no one decided not to watch the ending. We were all emotionally invested from the beginning. We hated it, but
Yeah,
we watched it.
But the end of this last season has definitely probably cut down the viewership of anything related to Game of Thrones that they're gonna do in the future by
Okay,
half
yeah.
almost.
Oh, 100%. I mean, the thing is, with this season alone, it probably turned off a lot of people.
Yeah.
What? Wait, turned off to what? Turned off a lot of people to what? Sorry.
To watch
was reading.
spin-offs.
To any spin-off
Oh,
of Game of
yeah.
Thrones. Like,
They should
It's-
kill that. HBO, you should kill them right now. No one's gonna watch. No one's gonna care.
So continue our discussion of the moments we really liked from Game of Thrones.
What we liked about Game of Thrones is that it's over.
well, it's one of those aspects where it's like the people watched it and continue to watch it because we're at the last
It's
season.
It's hard to get happy when I feel like I'm sitting in soiled pants.
Okay, you know what I did like? Okay, a positive thing about this season is that Sansa, yeah, she was probably greedy or whatever, but she was really all about the people in the North. Even
So
though she had
Sansa
her
was your
own-
positive female role model
Oh, hell no.
for this
Well-
the show?
Not necessarily positive female
She
role
was
model,
the
but she
worst.
became less of a bitch.
No,
I hated her the
because she
first
got
two
what she
seasons,
wanted.
But she was about the people.
We're
What
gonna go.
people? Her.
The
No.
people of the North. At the last season, she was fighting.
Carlo,
for
how do
them.
I censor comments?
What?
No,
Well-
he's talking. Oh, we have, someone brought up the Expanse in chat, and I'm about to I'm about to explode in my pants after you do mention the Expanse.
All right, well, let me segue to
Oh,
this.
the Expanse is amazing. we were gonna try to make a joke about
We're not expansing yet. Maybe later. Figure it out.
All right, can I say this? They ended the show with the Starks controlling everything.
I guess that was a good thing. That was a good kind of
'Cause
screw you, Westeros. We won, regardless of you
I've
killing our dad
no.
and our mom.
I've
and our
disliked
brother.
Sansa from
our
the
other brother.
beginning of the series. For her to get that big ass W at the end made me very upset. And I mentioned this earlier, but it was basically like your ex girlfriend marrying a rich ass dude.
Okay, yeah, Sansa was a little bitch throughout the season, but why do you hate her so much? What?
She
what about
sucks. She's spoiled, and she still got everything she wanted. Oh, because she had to watch her dad's head get chopped off. Oh, she still got what she wanted.
She went through some other really rough
it?
stuff
Yeah,
too.
Okay.
she got not even sold off, but she got married to a rapist,
Well, yeah, some of that
and
stuff.
she was beaten.
That stuff was it was
that doesn't make you a ruler.
okay.
I'm
yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry. That doesn't give you.
No, but she had some redeeming qualities when she was like standing up to Dany and being like, "No, we're not gonna have our people fight because they just fought. They need rest."
Well, yeah, no, that's her. She was being more strategic or whatever. But I also thought it was very, like, it made like her character kind of said it all when she basically put ahead the issues that she's dealt with over everybody else when she was talking to Arya, and she's like, you couldn't have survived what I survived. It's like, we've just watched Arya go through some shit. Come on. A lot of, and then this.
Well, we saw Sansa go through some shit too. She just wasn't combat.
Yeah,
trained.
but what?
She just didn't fight.
She was
Well,
taught
yeah, but
by
she
both
goes through the
Cersei
same kind of
and
shit that a lot of the
Littlefinger.
other women in the histories have.
She was
Wasn't
more
she-
of
but
like
she was.
she was groomed to be a political leader, and
I think
in
it
that
was-
realm, they were all backstabbing, and she was able to get out of the game.
But she was doing things like going behind John's back and
Yeah, she was fucking over her own family members.
What did she do against John again?
She kept undercutting. She kept undercutting him. Like, that's something that you're not
Not
supposed to do.
necessarily. She was the one that told Tyrion that he should be rightful king and that he would probably be a better ruler.
Well, no, that
Ah.
was against Dany because she could control John and at least get it in the house. But beforehand, when it was her versus John, and everybody's like, "Oh, John's the fucking best," and then she's like, "Oh, well, isn't that kind of a dumb idea what he's doing in front of everybody? Like, that's just a shitty move." Like, I don't think that's a good idea. I think we should do the exact opposite of that. It's like, yo, excuse me, be quiet right now. Like, nobody else can do that.
yeah, I don't.
And
like,
anytime somebody was doing it to her, she's like, yo, shush the fuck up.
She was also
we
really
ran out of wine.
pissed.
Sorry, we had wine and then we ran out.
She was
I don't
pissed when
like.
John
I don't.
gave up the throne.
I don't like. Correct me if I'm wrong, but her whole like north, like what did you call it? Like homeland
Like
thing.
patriotism,
Does it not kind of?
Nationalism.
nationalism.
Does it
there
not
we go.
Let's
just
not
not-
go here.
No.
But yeah, it was completely unnecessary because
it comes
if
out of kind of nowhere.
because if
for
Bran
her.
is king, it's basically her just wanting her own thing, because it is all of it's the Starks now.
Yeah.
So then, what do you need to be separate for?
But then you have
Just so that you can rule it your way and have it all your way.
But the North kind of always, that's how Ned was too. It wasn't officially recognized, but
Technically, Ned bent the knee, but only after Robert's rebellion. He only bent the knee to Robert. Before, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was the first time that the North.
That's what she was referring to, was the North being independent up until
So she
then.
was kind of restoring things to the way it was. No, I think I'm wrong.
Yeah, she's asking who the hell is left in the north.
Yeah, because the
Yeah.
Umbers
The-
got
the
taken out
Starks.
and
immediately.
Lyanna
right?
Mormont's dead.
the Boltons, the Starks.
well, the thing is, in the books, there are a shit ton of more houses.
You played the game. How many different houses were up there?
He just named them Boltons, Karstarks, and Umbers.
Well, I think the Umbers are all gone.
Yeah.
Because that was Last
House
Hearth.
Umbers,
That's Last
yeah.
Hearth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got wiped out
And
immediately.
there's still some. I mean, not House Mormont is dead, but like their people are still around.
Yeah.
Because you can't just think of it as like the houses. There's all the farms and all the people
Yeah.
that the great houses ruled over.
Well, all right. Besides Sansa's bootleg ass bullshit,
Agree to disagree, but yeah.
I'm one. I guess I'm redeeming it in my head. I'm hoping that John basically becomes like the next
Mance Raider?
Mance Raider, yeah.
So you think that he abandoned his post as at Night Watch?
Fuck, I would.
By
He's
the way,
straight
that
dip.
was-
He's above the North, and the North isn't even part of the Seven Kingdoms. So who's gonna police that?
And then what did they?
Gonna send a raven, be like,
Yeah.
John, you still up there?
I did not understand
Wait,
that
Are there
silent.
still ravens?
Or crows, or whatever the fuck you call
Well, I'm
them?
just saying. Like, remember when the show was about cool little things like that?
Yeah.
Before everybody could teleport from one
Send
location to
three
the next.
ravens. Send 3 crows.
I
Now
did
it's all
not.
about fast
Was
travel.
that? Did we miss something? Like he got put in the Night's Watch, and I could have swore he told Giantsbane to go back home,
And he was just
Right?
waiting for him.
and he was waiting at Castle Black
Yeah.
this whole time. Like,
after he ate his dog's ear.
I guess the assumption is that Tormund got to the wall and then heard about Jon killing Daenerys and was like, "Oh, he'll be back."
No,
He's
he went
coming
to
up
the
here.
wall and he was just like, this is the North he was talking about, right?
yeah, and then you gave him no lines. Like he could. Like I thought it would that would have been an actual funny movie. Again, he was like that big woman with you, or something.
Oh, that's the
Like,
thing. I was kind of
yeah.
hoping that Brienne or Tormund would show up down in King's Landing and get Brienne, but then
Yeah.
That
I
just
wish
turned into
they
like a
hooked up.
bromance.
I would have been so
We
happy
just like
if they
looked in each other's
got
eyes.
together.
All
Like, it was cool that she was the commander of the Kingsguard now, and that's why she could write in the book and fill out the histories of the various Kingsguard members.
Yeah.
But
Podrick wasn't ready for that shit.
it was just so like, really? That's all she gets?
And then Podrick is on the Kingsguard that quick. He just learned how to fight.
Because he's giving it to Brienne. I'm just kidding.
Dang.
I like Brienne.
But yeah, but like, okay, Bran extra needs strong Kingsguard members because he can't defend himself. Well, I guess
He's a badass now. Didn't you see him before the Battle of Winterfell? And he survived the Battle of Winterfell.
What? Yo,
5,000 Dothraki survived the Battle of Winterfell somehow.
If
Well, I say that somewhat sarcastically because Sam survived the Battle of Winterfell. How did Sam survive?
If I was dying and I saw Sam alive murdering a bunch of White Walkers, I would have just been, oh shit. Yeah, I should die. I deserve this shit. Because how do I suck more than him? He's like one of maybe 2 chubby people in the entire world.
2 chubby people.
Yeah, but they played that Brienne thing kind of hard. Like, she was super sad when he took off.
I'm so fucking pissed about that. Let's not talk about that. That's like one of
She-
my I shit on Game of Thrones for that very reason.
That was also the fault of Sansa.
Game of Thrones lost me. Wait, what?
Sansa did that too. That was her fault.
Game of Thrones lost me when they hooked up Arya with Gendry and Brienne with Jamie. I felt that
Again,
was just like
Sansa's fault.
gratuitous
She did
sex
that
that
too.
was unnecessary.
Wow, this is just becoming Sansa hating. Somebody turn off his mic.
He's
Well, no, she hooked them all up. She's like, hey, yo, remember when everything sucks? I'm Sansa.
Why are you?
I feel like we are going
so
off the rails.
mad?
We should start wrapping this up.
Yeah, can
Okay,
someone
favorite
take the
character.
mic away
Favorite
from
character,
him?
quick.
Like from the
Not
season
Sansa.
or
Carlo,
from
you
the,
first.
from the show?
Rob Stark.
Wow.
Oh. Tormund.
Meat pie.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
meat pie.
pie.
Because at least he has a skill.
Giant
Cookie.
Spain.
I'm gonna say Oberyn Martell.
Oh, fuck.
he was good. I
Wait,
liked Oberyn Martell.
wait,
Yeah,
wait.
he was dope.
Can I have that one?
Can I have a give back the one?
Adam Kell says Varys. Solid
Varys
choice.
was good. Varys is good.
The only one with any clue as to what to do, and then he died for it.
Mm-hmm.
I love how Tyrion's not on our list.
Oh no, Tyrion's on my list.
It's
Tyrion's been
hot-
my
it's
favorite
hot
from the
pie.
beginning.
Huh?
Tyrion's been my favorite from the beginning.
Even till the end?
What
Even
did you
to the
say?
end.
Pot
Meat,
pie?
meat pie.
Meat pie.
So I guess he's not that much of my favorite then.
I like to point out how stupid the rest of us are. So we're all like, meat pie, yeah!
So I guess I'll switch that to Gendry.
Gendry. Oh, I thought you were saying.
Who'd you
got
say?
him with
Tyrion.
Podrick.
Tyrion's
Tyrion.
always been my
Yeah.
favorite. Tyrion's who I put on the stupid Deadpool for who I wanted to end up on the throne.
Oh, I lost mine.
And
I
he
don't know how
came
I did.
close. He came so close.
But I think amongst everybody, I had the most people living, and so I think I won. Because
yeah, I killed off
no
everybody.
one kind of died. Because he kind of killed everyone I know killed everyone.
I
'cause they
wanted
thought that
everybody
was-
to die.
Yeah.
That's how you end things. Finality.
Ooh, Stannis? Really? Dad of the year, Stannis?
Oh, I would do
God.
Davos. Oh, Davos.
Got
Yeah.
a burning love for
sure.
Stannis.
Yeah, Davos was dope.
Oh, Ygritte was a good one too. Ygritte.
Ygritte.
Oh, Ygritte, yeah. Ollie?
And I just one last fuck
Davos
Ollie.
is my second. Davos is amazing.
One
character.
last-
I love
Yes.
Davos.
Fuck Ollie, bro.
What?
Fuck Ollie. One last
Oh,
fuck
Ollie.
Ollie.
Yeah, I fucking hate that kid.
Wait, what's the name of the Stark kid that can't do zigzags?
Oh my god. Yeah, that little
Oh.
shit.
Fucking.
Oh shit.
That was
Not
an
even
upsetting
remember.
moment
Yeah,
too.
Shaggy
I
Dog.
can't even.
He
Oh
wasn't
my
even
God,
important enough
what's
to
the
remember.
Stark's Kid? What's the Stark's kid, you guys?
Yeah.
The one I couldn't zigzag.
Little Stark.
That's all you remember of him.
Rick
He
on,
couldn't
Rick
zigzag.
on,
Because he fucking got him in
Thank
like
you,
one shot.
paracetamol. Rickham.
Rick.
Can't even
Yeah.
serpentine.
Yeah, oh man.
That's all I was yelling during that scene was serpentine! Serpentine!
He's like, arrows they don't go straight. These are wanted arrows.
I want. That would have been so great if John's right, just pounding the horse, getting to him, and he's going, Serpentine, what are you doing?
Just gesturing with his hand.
All right, let's start at the end. Final thoughts. We're wrapping this up, guys. Carlo, you're up first. Remember, we've done 2 seasons of Game of Thrones reviews, so this is.
I did 1 season and whatever.
You're here, so you're a part of this.
Skip Game of Thrones if you haven't watched
shout
it.
out to Jack
What a
Gleason.
hater.
I actually, it's like I remember at the end feeling like I missed Joffrey.
All right, so
Okay,
I
go
guess
ahead.
Lucas is going.
No.
Yeah,
I'm
Lucas
responding to
is
chat. He
Oh,
needs to
okay.
go.
I did.
What did you
Yeah,
say?
you little shit.
Sorry,
You, like,
I'm
totally-
reading chat. What did he
Okay.
say?
I just said if you haven't watched Game of Thrones, skip it.
I'm sorry. Is it
Oh, wow.
is it Shep Penis?
She penis. Stopped at season 3. Not
It's
gonna finish because of
Shathid.
sex.
It's what, Alex?
Such a grouch.
Shathid.
Shathid.
Also, Carlo, you are getting some requests about your Plex.
Okay, so
No, we're not
story
going into
time.
this.
No.
We're
No,
not going into
story
the Plex.
time.
Hey, we're doing wrap up. Do this on your own time.
Yeah,
Jazz, you're
we're
up.
we're touching hour 2 here, so Jazz, final thoughts.
All right, final thoughts. Like we said earlier, it was a great journey.
Into the mic, Jazz.
Okay. Like we said earlier, it was a great journey. The ending was kind of disappointing. Honestly, I would recommend the show to people, but I just wouldn't have my expectations high. I wish the outcome was a little bit different, but that's what alcohol is for.
My final thoughts are
Sansa's not that bad.
sucks.
I knew it was coming.
No. What are my final thoughts? You should, if you haven't already seen it, then you should watch it so that you're on all of our levels and disappointed. Because if you tell me, oh, well, you put so much time into it and now your heart's broken, I want your heart to be broken too. Yeah.
Oh, actually, can I have a go back?
my pain.
I'm not sure what a go back is, but go ahead.
Can I come back to me and just say it?
All right.
As long as you talk into the mic.
All right, so even though the season was like kind of shitty, it has been a really great show to actually talk with people. This show has been watched by a lot of people that I probably wouldn't normally talk to about shows, so I think that's a really good thing. It has brought people together,
Oh,
So-
no.
such as I drink.
Yeah, you need to switch to the other camera because I think the other
Oh.
camera can see your shirt.
Jess, ironically, we can't see your shirt because your wine glass is in the way.
My shirt is I drink and I know things.
And my shirt is I drink and I have forgotten things. We did not realize we bought complimentary shirts, but
They
we're
gave
very
me the
happy
shirt.
about it. I
My
gave you it?
birthday shirt.
Oh, great. I did this on purpose then. Look how smart I am.
Okay, so that was my go.
I just realized, okay, so
You
my-
don't get another go? Jazz was a one-time thing.
Well, no. My takeaway from this is now I just realized from what she said, I'm going to have a lot less to talk about with strangers. So there's a lot less small talk that's going to happen in my direction.
No, there's gonna be a lot more because we're gonna be like, how bad was this episode?
Well, usually people will strike a conversation with, hey, you watch Game of Thrones? And now I'll be, now I'm just going to have to say, fuck you.
Don't look at the comments. Just say your words, Lucas.
Okay, that's okay. My final thoughts on Game of Thrones are: I'm so excited to finish the Expanse books, and I'm just kidding. But yeah, this is one of those you hop on for the journey and it's gonna fucking crash and burn at the end. But for what Game of Thrones was, I'm still happy it exists. And I will recommend it to other people because there's really some really cool fucking moments and some really big achievements in storytelling and television making and all that stuff. And I don't think one flubbed season of a big show can really mark down the whole. You can't. It's not going to take away from the rest of it.
So the hipster is giving it how many stars?
Oh my god.
It was like going on a dope-ass vacation, and the last 3 days you got food poisoning.
Oh my god, that's such a good one. That's a good one. That's a good
Okay.
one.
It is, but you're like vacationing in like somewhere sick, like Madagascar or something.
Some crazy shit.
Yeah, some crazy thing. It's like crazy and adventurous, but now you have Ebola.
Yeah. Damn.
Wow.
Or
Took a dark turn again.
Dysentery.
Cholera?
All kinds.
We're just
Damn.
going for an Oregon Trail, like.
Scurvy.
God damn it, you guys. I can't get these images out of my head.
Dysentery?
I would definitely, and I know I already said it, I would recommend Game of Thrones to anybody. I think it's worth the journey. The ending is not there, but it's something to talk to people about. And I think that says something. For 8 years, we all talked about it. We debated where it was going. Remember the whole nonsense with the prophecy and Azor Ahai? Remember when that was important?
Oh, yeah.
I gave this show my fucking 20s. I just realized that. Holy shit.
The books are still coming. The books could redeem the franchise, if not the show, in my eyes, if George R. R. Martin doesn't die. I think
He's going to.
a song
of dysentery.
Yeah.
I think the best
Oh
thing
my
that I
God,
can
it's gonna
do
Game
to
of
make
Thrones
myself feel
life.
better is I'm going to start calling it A Song of Ice and Fire, meaning that I'm a follower of the books, but no longer of the show.
So the show's now a game of shit.
And on that disappointing note,
But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in for this year and the previous year of Game of Thrones reviews. We will be back for sure next year with Westworld,
World.
and we are
I'm pretty sure the people know what we're doing next.
we're actively
Fans.
looking for another show to review
I
until
think
that time.
the people have spoken.
There's lots of options out there.
Expands according to
think-
Luke.
There's
I
a wide
think they want
expanse
what
of
they
shows
want,
on
Nick.
the air at the moment. I just gave you a hint right there.
Are we going to do X-Men Dark Phoenix and then like talk about why
No,
Jean Grey
we can't.
sucks?
Shut
Okay, yeah,
up.
she totally. Oh, yeah.
We'll expand on what we're going to do next later.
and on that note,
And yes, I want to do the Golden
Golden
Compass,
Compass.
and I want to do Watchmen, but we'll talk about that
What
later.
about Joe Jonas?
Let's all sign off. Carlo!
Jonas'
Wait, I want to
marriage.
read.
like he said, my name is Carlo.
My name is Jasmine.
I'm Alex.
My expanse are on too
Oh
tight,
my
but
God.
my name's Lucas.
And I'm Nick. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Have a good night.
Goodbye.
Oh, that's nice.
Our set
Yeah, that's nice.
better than
Well, fucking duck.
What?
Sorry, I'm like, oh my god, I just went from like work to here, and I'm like, I don't want to be late. What? What is this? What is it? Oh, it's the bean rice and cheese burrito from that one place. Yeah, motherfucker. That's awesome.